that's the difficult thing about being biracial, that we're so self-effacing all the time. Okay, we're in this environment. Okay, I erased that other part. Okay, now I'm here. Now I'm going to erase this part.
And it's scary because usually this part is dangerous.
Yes.
In this setting.
Yes.
In this setting. You know, like I was thinking
right.
a lot about, you know, before her first day of school, and I think the grandmother says, "You're going to be the prettiest one there." And I'm thinking, my God, that is so dangerous, because I'm thinking this is an all-black school. And then I'm like, well, if it was a white school, it really wouldn't be dangerous, would it? It would just kind of be like a waste.
No, that's so interesting, right? Like, it's like it's kind of like opposite world somehow, where the black grandmother wants her to be the prettiest biracial girl in a mostly black school, but of course that's the thing that gets her in the most trouble ultimately, because all the kids think she thinks she's so full of herself and they don't like her, and she just wants to have the best handwriting and know the biggest words.
Right.
And no one cares about that because they can't see that. Like
Although that's dangerous too. That kind of a setting.
It can be dangerous.
Having the best handwriting and spelling well and reading aloud correctly.
I know.
That's dangerous.
For Rachel, she talks white.
Let's talk
and that was dangerous for her. And she didn't even know what that meant.
Because there is no such thing.
Exactly. There's no such thing as talking white. There is, the linguists have words for this. They call it Black English vernacular, they call it Standard English, and also, different dialects have different names. When I was in college, I really wanted to be part of the black community. First I tried to pass as Latino. That didn't really work out for me. But I continued to take Spanish. And then I really wanted to find a way in, because I thought, like, when I was in middle school and high school, that the reason I wasn't accessing, like, being black was that I was not, I was not in a middle class setting of black people.
Mm-hmm.
So, not that everyone around me was poor, but I was poor. Like, my family was poor. We were on welfare and food stamps. So I couldn't be black middle class in that sense, because I was just a kid without any money. And I also, I wasn't educated enough yet, but I was on that route, got good grades and stuff. And I thought, well, now I'll be in college, and I was on scholarship, but we all lived in the same place, so no one had a bigger house than me while I was at least on campus, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe someone had a car, but you didn't need a car, you needed a bike, really. And I had a bike, right? So it was kind of like, I thought, okay, everything's going to be evened out, and I really wanted to access the black community. And I didn't. I couldn't. I think I tried. I really do think I tried. But then suddenly, these were actual black middle class people who grew up with money and had cars and all of this stuff. And then I really didn't fit in with those people. And how awkward am I? Like, oh, I want to be your friend. I'm black too, or I'm half black.
Awkward as me.
It
doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Like, when you're going into the, okay, now I'm going to have white friends.
Right.
White people who go try to have black friends, that looks silly, right? I don't know. So of course that didn't work out. And I joined the BSU, and I ran their volunteer service community. So it wasn't like I was just like, oh, I'd be my friend. I did try to
be involved
in the community in a meaningful way. And that didn't work out. And now I've totally forgotten where I was going. Black people, white people coming together.
Here's something else from the book that
Okay.
I found very telling about the middle and about forgetting this wholeness and what it is made of. That Rachel says that at the time when she's hanging out with Jesse and Brick, they show her there are different ways to be black and there are different ways to be white. And I think that's so astonishing because we are the definition in many ways of that. In one, you get this is another way to be white, and this is another way to be black. And it's like we don't even know that
Oh,
anymore.
dude, you're blowing my mind.
I
didn't even think of that.
Yeah, and I think that's the tragedy of this whole mulatto thing, because this is really our job, in a way, that prescribed by the universe, in my humble biracial opinion, to show people, just by being, that there are different ways to be white and there are different ways to be black. And the way we've been taught about this is like totally wrong, and we should know that because it was based on greed and money and slavery and blah, blah, blah. Okay, but nobody remembers that. We're just stuck with these feelings of you're different from me and I'm different from you and I have to hate you because of what your people did to my people and whatever.
You are tripping me out because I actually had never thought of that scene in that way.
Oh. Well, anyway, I think that's
I
our
love
job, and we
I-
can't do it if they keep making us forget the middle, and that's the tragedy. The tragedy is that we're not just left to just be ourselves. Everybody has something to say about it, and they're so sure that they're right about who I am.
I love that. Of course that's what is the point of that scene. Well, I wrote the book, but I'm largely ignorant about some things about it. Like, there are certain things
that's
I
lovely.
knew. There are certain things I knew I was writing, and I hope people got or not, or recurring images. But that one scene that you talked about, that one scene where Rachel says that, Jesse gives her new ideas about how it is to be white, and Britt gives her new ideas about how it is to be black.
And where's
She has been doing that this whole time for everyone, and no one has actually paid attention. And had she been able to talk about her experience that way, then maybe she would be in a different space. Whoa. Whoa.
And something else, I think kind of along those lines, but not as much, is Rachel's talking about Aunt Loretta, and that she is a black woman, and the kind of woman I will be when I grow up.
Yes!
And this really, because I'm always like, what's the difference if your mom was white and your mom was black? And, my mom to me, I guess, was Aunt Loretta in many ways. Trying to just do a parallel here. She's my mom, and nothing like that ever happened. But, I did assume that I was going to grow up to be a black woman like my mother. Which I, of course, partially did, I'm sure. But how that never occurs to me that is not what it was because I was one dropped, and so that,
right,
along with having that central female role model being black, and I'm not as ethnically ambiguous, I was under that impression too.
But then you got to this point where you're like, hey, wait.
Yeah, hey, wait. I can't be that. Not
Exactly.
I don't want to be that.
Exactly.
Not I'm something better than that. Oh my God, I'm free.
Exactly.
No.
It's not can't. It's not I want to be better. It's that the thing that I'm going to be is something different. And there is no role model out there for it. So Rachel gets to this point. What she wants to be is close to her mother. And obviously she can't. Her mother has died. I mean, that's the first
Literal.
point.
Right.
Yeah, she's dead. And so she's given all these other role models in front of her, and the one she likes most is Aunt Loretta. I actually have a real Aunt Loretta, who is a black woman, my father's sister. She's given me permission to use her real name in the book, because when I write, I use real people's names. Not that the people are the character, but I need real names because I'm connected emotionally to the names, so that I become more connected to the characters, and they become more and more real to me. So for a long time, this book had totally different names in it. And so I had to change all the names, not all of them, but you know, like the core characters. And obviously Aunt Loretta is a core character, and I struggled for days because, you know, I had to turn it into the publisher, and like I have to sign this thing that says no one is going to sue me, and like all of this stuff. So I both called and emailed my Aunt Loretta, and I had shared with her, I think, the first chapter of the book, and she, I said, you know, I have to change the names of the people in the book because it's going to be published as a book, and I said, but if you give me permission to use your name, I would like to keep your name as the name of the aunt in the book. She's a very beloved character. And she wrote back and she said, of course, I've always wanted to be famous.
That's so awesome. Total side note, did you ever notice, because my black family says aunt and my white family would say aunt, and I think that aunt is a more proper thing, and I've always been like, you people got this one wrong.